It's about thinking on the fly when you don't have a lot of data. Say a little bit about this idea of why it's worthwhile to plan, even though the plan is smashed as soon as your helicopter lands. Because then you could, most people would say, well, then that was obviously a mistake. You should have done it. Why would you plan if it's not going to work out?
So no plan survives contact with the enemy, which is why centralized planning is always a mistake, which is why you always have to decentralize planning to the people on the ground who are able to more rapidly adapt and evolve as the situation itself evolves. The reason you plan is to become a better planner. So this is a core thing that kind of goes to the book, actually comes from Dwight Eisenhower. And Dwight Eisenhower says that basically what you do before any military operation is you make a plan for everything you can imagine happening. You think, what if my enemy does this? What if my enemy does this other thing? What if I have this unexpected breakthrough? What if I have this unexpected challenge? You make plans, you make plans, you make plans, you make plans, you make plans. And then the moment the battle starts, you throw out all the plans and you just focus on what's happening now. And so to your point, why'd you spend time planning? Well, the purpose of planning is to develop the planner, not to develop the plan. In other words, it's to make you better able at inventing new courses of action on the fly. And the more you practice doing that under pressure. So the classic way that special operations pitches its training is role play with real bullets. So in other words, you're constantly imagining different situations that could happen, but you're doing it with guns going off around you, so you feel like you might die. So it's that combination of imagination, but also real world pressure that forces the mind to come up with practical plans, whatever we want to call them, courses of action, thoughts on the fly, that allow you to shift your situation to your advantage in that moment and force your adversary or force your environment to either push back or give way. And so the entire point of the book is that we have set up a school system right now, which is essentially doing the opposite for students. It's giving them questions that the teachers already know the answer to. And what then happens is that students learn there is an answer and the system has it. And when I'm uncertain about life, what I should do is I should look around for a book or an authority who can tell me what to do. That's the entire conditioning that happens in our school system. Whereas the reality of life is there almost never is an answer. I mean, life comes without an answer. I mean, that's why it's terrifying, but that's also why it's beautiful, because it gives you the opportunity for your own individuality, your own originality, your ability to craft your own path. And even if there is an answer, it's very unlikely that the teacher has it. The answer, such as it exists in your own initiative. And so a huge part of the book is encouraging individuals to take the initiative when they're in uncertain environments and learn through feedback. So when you make a plan, that plan comes with a set of expectations as to what will result from you enacting that plan. When things start to go sideways, what your brain then has to do is start to make other plans. And successful planners are always able to imagine multiple possibilities for life. So a successful planner isn't locked in on a single narrative. This is why I think narrative has a bad rap among economists. As a lot of economists will say, well, the problem with narrative is you have this narrative in your head, and then you interpret the data that you get to fit your narrative. That's a misuse of narrative. Narrative did not evolve in the human brain for its truth function or its probability function. Narrative evolved in the human brain for its possibility function, for its ability to imagine new things that haven't occurred yet. And so you're being an effective planner when you're able to imagine all sorts of things that haven't happened to you or haven't happened to anybody else, increasing the possibility space, flexing your imagination. And so, to get back to your original question, the purpose of planning ahead of time is to increase your sense of all the different possibilities that could happen in your environment and all the possible actions that you could take, so that when you hit that moment of impact, you have the maximum intellectual flexibility.